You ready to do this?
I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
All right. Hello, welcome to Video Creators Lounge. We are here with another episode, and I am lucky enough to have our beautiful co-host and talented artist, Brooke Lambert, here with us today. My name is Justin. For those that don't know, Brooke is an unbelievable artist, and we're going to have kind of links to her website and her artwork in the description. Definitely check it out. I am happy for many reasons for you to be here today. One of which is, I think it gives us a little bit of an opportunity to talk about Video Creators Lounge. You kind of brought up a great point the other day. You said, we're making these videos, but I'm not really sure if the audience has a understanding of why. What's the motivation behind making these videos? What's driving that? And I think that's kind of what you alluded to, right? When we had the conversation the other day.
Yep. We've been making a lot of videos about the community, about people doing great work for the community, helping other people. And I just kind of realized that we haven't really talked much about why we're doing that, what drives us to make these videos, what drives us to help people.
For lots of money. That's the driver. We're trying to capitalize on this and take money from the poor. Joking, of course. I think we had a good conversation the other day because you actually asked me these questions and you pulled a lot of this information out of me. I guess these videos give us an opportunity to maybe put something a little bit more positive out there online, and they showcase people that have done unbelievable work, show that how they started in their local community, and just by starting locally, that they can have an unbelievable impact.
I think a small amount, even by one person or a group of people that's small in a city or a town, can make a huge difference. Rather than, going online or on Facebook and kind of ranting about things and not really making an impact in a way, but actually doing work that makes a difference. So we want to highlight those people that are starting to do that, with the hopes that by watching them, by understanding what they've done, that it will inspire others to make a difference as well.
Absolutely. And we've been very lucky to interview some unbelievable people that just kind of started off right in their local community, and it wasn't really necessarily their intention to have such an impact, but they took that first step of an act of kindness, and how it kind of replicated and became bigger and built upon each other and had many positive impacts.
And a lot of people we interview have become leaders, but didn't think they were leaders at first. I mean, something happened to them or something happened to people they cared about, and they started to do what they thought was right, which ripple affected, like you said, to helping many other people, and really became a whole movement that a lot of the people we're interviewing have started.
I personally happen to enjoy video production and audio recording, but I also, not just because I personally enjoy it, but I think it's a great way to communicate a message. I mean, we have an opportunity now, unlike it was 20 years ago, to create a video and audio and kind of put it out there. Really, ultimately, what we want to do is excite our audience to participate in the community. We want to excite our audience to know and see from the people that we interview that how much one person can have such a positive impact on everybody around them. So if you're out there, you're watching this, and you happen to know an unsung hero or someone that works at a nonprofit, or even if they don't work for a nonprofit, that is just doing great work for the community, you think they ought to be showcased, let us know, and we'll reach out to them. Yep. And have them on, especially if they have a upcoming fundraising event or volunteer event. We would love to join them on that. Speaking of unsung heroes, people that do great work for the community, I'm very happy anticipating our guest to arrive here because she is one of those people.
Yes, our guest today is Darlene Louf. She's a cancer survivor. She likes to call herself a life survivor, and she'll tell you more about that. She has several affiliations that she works for, and really works for survivors of all kinds. So we're really excited to have her here today.
Absolutely. And her story is amazing. And so she'll be coming in here at any moment here, and I guess we'll just cut right to the interview. Ready?
Great.
And like magic, our guest is here, Darlene Louf. Thank you for joining us. Brooke and I are thrilled to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
We have a lot to discuss. I know your story, where you being a cancer survivor or life survivor, the work that you do, the book that you write. I'm not even sure where we should start. Brooke, what do you think?
Yeah. I think it'd be great if you could start from the beginning. I think that
when were you born? What day?
Yeah.
Let's start. Oh no, that's too early.
What hospital were you at before you were born? Okay. So I think that really having cancer and surviving cancer is really what brought you to where you are now. Can you talk a little about what, the beginning of your journey and how you started?
Absolutely. I was diagnosed with cancer, stage 3 breast cancer in 2011. Like most people, I was shocked. I said what most people do when they go through something like that or they get that type of news. Oh my God, why me? And then it dawned on me when I started going through my very first treatment as I was sitting there. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. As I was sitting there, it dawned on me that I was chosen. And I believe that I was chosen because I had more strength than I ever imagined I did and would have. And that my purpose here is not yet done. And my purpose is to help many others who believe that they don't have the power or the strength to conquer and achieve anything they wish, including cancer. Mm-hmm. I started to share my journey on social media. Sure. I had no idea that when I set up my social media page, that there was a private button and there was a public button. Mm-hmm. I was just sharing my journey and what I thought was just with my intimate family in a positive way. Unbeknownst to me, it was out in the world. Like I was sharing with people, strangers that I didn't even know. As a result of doing so, many, many people would respond to my posts. And they would start sharing their journeys of cancer and family members that they knew that had cancer and explaining and sharing that I was an inspiration to them. And I was reading this thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So everything that I've done from that point on up until this point and in the future, at the beginning was done honestly, but by accident at the beginning because I didn't realize that I was sharing with so many people. And when I did realize that and people started saying that I was an influence and that by sharing my story, I'm giving strength to others, led me to do the things that I'm doing now and will continue to do.
How soon after your diagnosis did you start making posts on Facebook? Was it within the first week or 2 weeks or a month?
It was actually the day I found out I had cancer.
No kidding. Now, did you already have a Facebook account at that time?
Yes.
Or did you even, okay, you had it.
Yeah.
And you started making the post. Why?
Well, because I thought, instead of, at the time, I thought it was, instead of writing things down in a paper journal, mm-hmm. I was using social media as a journal.
Sure.
Sure. Writing my story and thinking that I was only sharing with my family or my media journal, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So I started sharing right away.
And what was your hope when you were writing this journal online here?
I kept telling myself that after I got over the initial shock, mm-hmm. I kept telling myself that I have cancer. It does not have me. This is my life. Cancer is not welcome. And I'm going to fight as hard as I can because I have so much to live for. I love life. I love my kids. I want to see my grandchild grow up. And I just have too much more to do. Right. So I refuse to give in to cancer.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great message.
So you really kind of right then became really what we were talking about earlier about you, but really became a leader right then without really knowing that you were. You were talking to your friends and your family, but you really started to become an example or an influencer right off the bat.
I thank you for that compliment. Mm-hmm. That's really, really kind of you to say. I I never, and to this day, I still don't look at myself as other people do. I don't consider myself a hero or anything like that. And I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. What I want people to look or think when they think of me is that someone who loves life, someone who lives and learns every day, someone who wants people to realize that life is a true gift and it's ours to do with whatever we choose to do. Mm-hmm. And I choose to live it to the fullest. I make mistakes, just like a lot of people do. I try to learn from those mistakes. But I live every moment, every minute, every hour of a day and make it the best that I can. And my message, hopefully, to everyone out there is that life is difficult. Right. And it does not come with a handbook, but it is ours to do with what we choose to do. And I could have taken the path where I laid down and felt sorry for myself and just, I've led a really hard life. And I could be one of those people that could be very angry and very bitter and have a right to be so. But I choose not to. Mm-hmm. I choose to take my personal experiences and my journeys and turn them into positivity, because I truly believe that there's a positive in every negative. I really believe that there's a positive in every negative. Now, you might ask me, or most people might think, how can you pull a positive out of cancer? Mm-hmm. Well, you can, because I'm here. I'm very happy to say that I'm in remission 9 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And the cancer opened the doors for me in so many ways.
Right. And you're something you're saying about positivity and kind of like that path you had and really seeing good and things that are pretty bad. It reminds me of a quote of that someone who's very close to me always brings up, but your attitude is a choice. And absolutely. You can have things that happen in your life that are really terrible and really, really rough, but your attitude about them is a choice. In the end, you can choose whether to be positive or whether to let it wreck you. And I think you've really done an amazing job at making your life positive.
Now, we know when you say turning a negative into a positive, we know all of the things that you have done to do that, but our audience doesn't yet know. So continue with our story, and if you cry, you're going to make me cry, and that's not good for anybody.
We'll all be crying.
We'll all be crying.
I'll try not to.
The greatest thing about this story is that when you started posting online, you did it in part because you wanted to share, and by the way, that's not an easy step to take. You took that step. It helped you, but it also, you were thinking about your family and your friends. You had hoped that it would help them in some ways. Is that correct?
Yes. In sharing my journey on social media, it was helping me. Mm-hmm. But when I realized that it was not only helping me, but it was helping my family and my friends and complete strangers in a positive way, it felt incredible. One of the stories, when I said earlier that cancer opened the doors for me in so many ways, one of them was as a result of me sharing my story on social media. And again, as I said earlier, I didn't realize that it was open to everyone.
Well, let me ask you about that. You're posting, your family is inevitably responding, right? How long into it did you then realize, oh, wait a minute, other people are seeing this too?
That's funny you asked that question. At first, I didn't. Mm-hmm. I just oh, wow, I got a lot of responses. Because like I said at the beginning, I was computer illiterate, social media illiterate, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. So it didn't even dawn on me to check and say, oh, I got 50 likes or, oh, comments, 15. I didn't get into that because I was going through treatment and stuff at the beginning. But then I would be at treatment feeling a little better, and I'd go in and look, and I'd be like, who's this person? I don't know who that. That's when it was probably maybe believe it or not, 3 months into
No kidding. Right,
into
right.
having my social media page that I realized that
No, I don't know this person.
I don't know these people.
where did these likes come from?
Exactly.
And positive comments
Right.
come. Who are these people, right?
yeah, exactly.
So then what happened there? Like, when did it all coalesce or come together?
Well,
When did you figure it out?
started to come together when this woman named Charlie Alejandro, she was following me and I didn't realize it. She sent me a private message stating, "My name is Charlie Alejandro, and I want to say that I've been following your posts on social media. You're an inspiration. Your story is amazing. I too have a family member who is going through cancer, and we're following you, and what you're sharing in your positivity is making a difference in our family. So thank you." And I'm like, wow. And then she asked to friend request me. Sorry, my tongue, I left my tongue at home. So I did, because I'm the type of person that, one, I have no problem with the gift of gab. Two, unfortunately, for the rest of my life, I will be a part of cancer. And anything that I can do to help anyone or any organization or anything in any way, small or big, I will do. So I had that thought in mind. So I said, sure. And I friend requested her. Unbeknownst to me, she was Miss Petite USA. I didn't find that out until later on, but I'm like, cool. Well, her family member was actually her daughter-in-law. Her daughter-in-law's name is Sarah. And Sarah was diagnosed with cancer when she was carrying her second child. And she opted out of treatment because she wanted to carry the baby. She was following me and my stories.
Tough situation.
Yeah, it was very sad, but I never met Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
I never had the pleasure of meeting Sarah, but I feel that she is my spirit sister and we are forever connected. But she was following my posts on social media. Sarah and Charlie were both following my posts on social media. And so I friended Charlie. Sarah kept following me as well in reading my posts. Sadly, Sarah passed away. But
Sorry for your loss.
Before she passed away, she wanted to leave a legacy behind. She wanted to leave something in that would make a difference in the world, that would help cancer patients do things. You know, I said earlier, every minute, every moment, every hour of every day. Sarah believed that there was more to life for a cancer patient than just spending time in a hospital room. So she wanted to come up with some type of organization in her name that would represent everything she believed in, that would help patients get out, be it a picnic or a baseball game and such. So they were following me, and they came up with this idea because Charlie was in pageantry. They came up with an idea, why don't we have a Queen Ambassador for the Sarah Joy Foundation? So that's how they came up with the Sarah Joy Foundation. Sarah passed away. Charlie contacted me and said that we're going to have a dinner in honor. Now, I never met Charlie at this point either.
And so, I mean, it's just coincidental that you're physically located. You're both in Massachusetts,
Absolutely.
right? Because that could have easily been someone in a different state or hundreds of miles away, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And you at the time were living where?
Wakefield.
And Charlie and Sarah were in the what area of Massachusetts?
Well, they're from Massachusetts, Lowell.
The Lowell area of Massachusetts.
And Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
They were both Pennsylvania and Lowell.
And so that, I mean, that it's kind of, interesting.
It was insanely crazy that when she passed away, I was contacted and they said, we're going to have a fundraiser in honor of Sarah. And I thought, as I said earlier, oh, okay. Unfortunately, I'm connected with cancer for the rest of my life. But now I get to meet a Facebook friend for the first time. I'm going to be a part of something that's going to help and, support cancer. And because we were then friends, they followed, they knew I liked to sing. They knew more about me. So I showed up at this dinner and I thought, wow, this is cool. I'm going to go. I'm going to have dinner. They asked me to sing, so I'm going to sing and I'm going to go home. Well, it turned out to be more than that. It was life-changing for me. I did sing, but after I sang, Charlie Alejandro said, I went to sit down, and she said, wait. And the next thing I know, Sarah's husband was on one side of me, and Charlie was standing on the other side of me. And they started to talk a little bit about Sarah. And it was really like remarkably amazing that I never had the opportunity to meet this young lady, but I feel as if I know her. And then they said that I was a lot like her. And unbeknownst to me, they talked about how they wanted to do an organization in honor of Sarah with her name and continue her legacy and her message of hope and love and positivity. And they said that before Sarah passed, as she was reading my posts that I didn't realize that I was sharing with everyone, she said, I like this woman. I want her to be the representation of the Sarah Joy Foundation. I want her to be the first queen. So as I said, I sang.
And she had said she had a long time, even before this event, of course, that you're describing.
Yes.
They made that decision, a long time before
and
that
unbeknownst
event.
to me,
And you
I
had no idea.
I had no idea. And so after they started talking about Sarah and how much we had in common, the next thing you know, I feel something going over my head. And it was a sash that said the Sarah's Joy Queen and a crown on my head. And I'm like, what? And I started crying. In 2012, they crowned me to be the first Queen Ambassador for the Sarah's Joy Foundation. And I was, to this day, forever, the Sarah Joy Foundation has a very special place in my heart, and I will always represent them in anything that I do. Sarah's always with me. The next year, 2013, they crowned me the Lifetime Queen Ambassador. When I went to that dinner, I thought I was crowning my successor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I'm like, they
got you again.
Well,
they surprised you again, right?
Again. They went to take my crown, and I'm like, no, don't I get to keep it? And they went to take my crown, and I'm like, okay, I gotta give it away. I gotta give it to someone else. But what they were doing was replacing it with a bigger crown, the Lifetime crown. Wow. So I became the Lifetime Queen Ambassador of the Sarah Joy Foundation, and that actually started my journey in everything that I do.
I mean, you really think of yourself as a life survivor, not just a cancer survivor, but a life survivor. And that's so fitting that you got the Lifetime Sarah Joy Foundation because, it'll always be a part of you. Can you talk a little about why you say life survivor instead of cancer survivor?
Absolutely. I say life survivor because, as I said earlier, life's not easy and it doesn't come with a handbook. And I've survived many things that have happened to me in life. I've survived abuse from when I was a child, abuse as an adult in a relationship, marriage, cancer, and I'm still surviving every day. Mm-hmm. I kind of think of us all as lifetime survivors because every day we're given situations and moments that sometimes take our breath away and sometimes make us take a step back and say, and if we can make it through that, we're a survivor. Mm-hmm. So I consider myself a lifetime survivor. And I never feel sorry for myself. Well, actually, let me take that back. I don't feel sorry for myself, but what I do allow myself to do, because I beat cancer, but I still have a lot of side effects from the treatments. Mm-hmm. And that's why I call myself a lifetime survivor as well, because I'm still going through things as a result of the treatments from cancer. But what I allow myself to do, and especially when I was going through my aggressive treatments, is I give myself 2 days. 2 days to feel sorry for myself, to behind my closed doors, not on the outside. Mm-hmm. This is personal. I give myself 2 days to feel sorry for myself, to, if I want to eat a large cheese pizza and bonbons, I'm going to eat a large cheese pizza and bonbons. Cry, whatever it is I want to do for those 2 days. As soon as those 2 days are finished, I pick myself up, I take a shower, say, okay, you're done, and move on.
Yeah.
I allow myself that because then it makes it easier for me to cope with whatever's going to come.
Yeah, that's an amazing amount of strength that you've grown and that you've had.
When you were crowned the Lifetime Ambassador for the Sarah Joy Foundation, is that where a lot of your work started? Did it progress from Facebook to meeting Charlie for the Sarah Joy Foundation? And I know there's so many other things that you do, but was that the starting point for the other to build upon?
Absolutely. When I say cancer opened the doors for me for so many reasons, yes. Being a part of the Sarah Joy Foundation and meeting Charlie, Alejandro, and Sarah's family for the first time, because up until that point, I never met them, only through words and sharing on social media. So meeting them for the first time was amazing. It was remarkable. I actually felt as if we've known each other for many, many years. It was that kind of a connection, and it will always be that kind of a connection. And as a result, I started doing things because it helped me realize that, wow, yes, I've gone through this tragedy, but oh my gosh, look what's come of it. If I stay positive and I keep doing what I believe in, on top of helping other people, what an accomplishment. What a self-gratifying accomplishment. I kept a journal when I was going through my cancer journey. I wrote a children's book into which it's called The Magical Stickers, and it is based on real life events. It's how I explained to my grandson, who was 4 at the time, how I explained to him that I'm very family orientated. I spend a lot of time with my family. And when I got sick, it was quick. Say Thursday I had hair. Monday I did not. It was quick. So how am I going to explain to my grandson that I'm not going to be feeling well to be able to spend a lot of time with him? I want to spend more time with him. So what I did was, I went to his favorite store. I bought 500 stickers, all different kinds of stickers. And I went over to his house. My daughter prepared him. We sat him down, and I had the stickers. And I said, you know, Grammy's been sick. And he said, yes. And I said, do you want to be a big part of helping Grammy get better? And he said, yes. And I said, with the magic of your love and these stickers, everywhere you put these stickers, if you put them on Grammy's head, Grammy's hair will grow back. We sat down on the floor, and at first he was a little timid, you know. But if you can envision, I had 500 stickers on my bald head. And we started laughing and playing, and it did no longer dawn on him. He was no longer afraid, and he wasn't scared anymore. We just continued to play. It's a children's book, but it's more than a children's book. It's a learning tool.
Sure.
It's a learning tool for anyone, for any type of sickness. And I donated all the proceeds to that book to Camp Sunshine.
That's fantastic. So the name is The Magical Stickers.
The Magical Stickers.
And do you have a pen name, or is it by Darlene Louf?
The Magical Stickers.
Mark Twain.
Darlene Louf.
All right.
I'm going to be Mark Twain.
That's great. So is it still available? Still available to purchase, right?
Absolutely. It's available on Amazon.com, any bookstore. If you go in, if you Google Barnes and Nobles or Author House,
sure.
You could Google Darlene Louf, The Magical Stickers. Boom, there it is.
And all the proceeds go to?
All the proceeds go to Camp Sunshine. Camp Sunshine is a camp for terminally ill children and their families.
That's another organization that you're involved with, right?
And I learned about Camp Sunshine. When I was sick, I used to go up to Maine and go on a boat on the lake because it made me feel better when I was going through treatments. And one of my friends had pointed it out. Do you know what that is? I said no. Well, I went home and did research. And this is true story. I went on their website. Now, again, I never stepped foot on Camp Sunshine ground up until this point. But I did research, found out they had a wish list. So I went and got a U-Haul truck. I found out what they needed on the wish list, including 2 5-passenger paddle boats, and filled that U-Haul truck up with things that they needed. Filled. I called the director of the camp. And I said, my name is Darlene, I have some donations. Now, the funny thing is when I showed up, I went in to get him, and I said, hi, I'm Darlene. We introduced ourselves. And I said, I'm going to need some help. Now, we talked afterwards, he thought, because most people, and all donations are appreciated, but he says, some people say, I have a donation, it'll be a couple boxes or things like that. He said, when I walked out and saw that U-Haul truck, I was like, she means business. And from that day forward, I have developed a relationship with Camp Sunshine. And the reason that I did that and that I continue to do that is because I was going through cancer and I was feeling sorry for myself. But if these little heroes go through life-threatening, all different kinds.
So tell us a little bit about Camp Sunshine.
Camp Sunshine is a camp for terminally ill children and their families of all sicknesses, of diseases, heart, cancer, all different types, if you can only imagine. There's so many. It's a camp that allows the child and the family members to attend, and they do many activities depending on what session. And I say session because a session is 7 days. One session might be for cancer, a specific like brain cancer or such. Another session might be for heart transplants. Okay. So each session is different. It costs nothing for the families. Camp Sunshine, they have doctors on facility for whatever session. They have counseling for family members, for the children, many activities, but it involves the whole family. And it is a remarkable, remarkable place.
And they're right on a lake.
Saco Lake in Maine.
Saco Lake in Maine. And you coincidentally loved going there after your diagnosis because it brought you a lot of peace.
Yes.
And once you became aware of them, you're all in.
Oh, yeah.
So now still, that was now how many years ago now?
9 years ago.
That was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And I know you're involved continuously now.
Yes.
With them, with various kind of events and fundraisers. What other activities and things do they do?
The first year that I got involved, it was really, really cool. They have the Navy SEALs do triathlons for Camp Sunshine. And last year, they raised about $1 million.
Wow.
Or $500,000. It was a high. I was like, wow, for Camp Sunshine, because it doesn't cost the families anything, but it costs a lot of money to maintain that camp because their housing is included, the foods, the meals, everything is included. It's the most amazing place. I really think that if anybody going through anything in life, you're feeling sorry for yourself, you need to go visit Camp Sunshine because you boot yourself right in the butt and not feel sorry for yourself when you go there. It's really an amazing thing. The name of my second book is called Scarfy and the Magical Hat. We all have a purpose.
What's Scarfy? Where did Scarfy come from?
Scarfy is actually, as I said earlier, I kept a journal when I was going through cancer. And Scarfy is actually a scarf that I wore when I was going through my cancer. And I wanted to relate what I went through in the form of a children's book for children. But the books that I'm writing, the new book and the old book as well, the magical stickers, they're not just messages of cancer and surviving. They're different types of messages, life messages. So Scarfy is actually a scarf that I wore. And I'm trying to bring it to life.
Was this also something that came out of communicating with your grandson?
No.
Because the first one came from with your grandson.
Exactly. My first book, The Magical Stickers, was how I was going to explain to my grandson about my cancer journey. The rest of the books that I hope to continue to write, and this one that I'm working on now, are just pieces of my journal that I'm pulling out and creating stories from them. But they're really, I wore a scarf all the time. So to relate it to the children's book, its character is going to be named Scarfy. And the magical hat is another thing that came about when I was going through cancer, which is part of another book that I'll be writing eventually. This young woman, if I may, I was waiting at the doctor's office one day and I had my scarf on. And this young lady walked in and sat next to me, and she was beautiful and she was very nicely dressed and just really pretty. And she had this really cool hat on. Now, when I was going through my cancer journey, I was looking for hats. I couldn't find any cool hats. I mean, I found baseball caps and stuff, but I couldn't find any really nice hats. They'd make me feel pretty, you know? So I wore scarves. So when she sat next to me, I said, I love your hat. And she said, thank you. I love your scarf. And I said, thank you. Where'd you get your hat? And she started to tell me about it, where she got it and where I could get it and everything. And they called her name. So I never got her name, but they called her name, and she started to walk away. But then she stopped in her tracks and she turned around and walked back, and she took her hat off and she handed it to me. And I said, no, I can't take your hat. And she said, please, I've gotten a lot of pleasure out of it, and I think it's time that you enjoyed it. Please take it as a gift. And because I couldn't remember her name, I call her the waiting room angel. So that is how Scarfy and the Magical Hats, the Magical Hat, met. And my new book is to talk about their journey, and we all have a purpose. The name of the book is called Scarfy, the Magical Hat. We all have a purpose.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that will be out soon, huh?
Well, I'm in the process of writing it. I
Okay.
am having a fundraiser for it, in which half the proceeds, again, will be going to donating. I will be donating to them to another dear cause of mine, is the North Shore Cancer Center. So proceeds will be going to that. My fundraiser for that, right now it's in blueprinting. The book, the fundraiser. The only thing that's definite about the fundraiser is it will be August 14th.
So they first book, the proceeds go to the
Camp Sunshine.
Camp Sunshine, and then you have been involved with many organizations. So Camp Sunshine is one, and then was it kind of a progression from there that you got involved in a lot of these other organizations? What would be the next one that you started to?
Camp Sunshine was the first one.
Okay.
The North Shore Cancer Center, I was actually affiliated, but affiliated in a different way, because when I came down with cancer, my family created a team called Darlene's Divas, double D's, because before cancer, I was well endowed. And they walked for me in honor of me.
That's great.
Yes, double D's. They walked in honor for me, and that was 9 years ago. And in the course of my going through cancer, in my journey, I said I want to do something to help the North Shore Cancer Center, because they were a part of helping me. So I got involved quietly. When I do things, it's not to get a pat on the back. It's because it helps me. And knowing that I'm helping so many people, it just feels so self-rewarding for me. So I make raffle baskets. I love doing raffle baskets and stuff of different kinds of things. And I find out where their fundraiser is going to be, and I bring them the baskets so they can make money. And that's how I started to originally get back involved with the North Shore Cancer Center. But they went one step further. They knew I like to sing, and they asked me to sing at last year's walk. And when I did, Sue Tab from Magic 1067 was the commentator, the host. When I sang, Sue Tab stepped aside and I sang, and it was time for her to say thank you and stuff to me and introduce the crowd. And she stood there and just looked at me like, huh? And they kind of gave her an edge. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. That was fantastic. I'm like, thank you. After that, that was all done, she approached me, and I did go. She asked me to be on their show, which is for inspirational women. And I did a show with them. And I was totally flattered because
What kind of show is that? Is that
it's on
TV?
It's a radio show.
Radio show? Okay.
For inspirational women.
Okay.
And she asked me to be on that show, and I started to cry. I'm like, oh my God, me? Because I don't look at myself the way other people do. I do what I do because I get self-gratification, and in helping others, it makes me feel good. I never think that it makes a difference. And the more I'm learning and the more people are asking me to do things, it is so humbling for me. And I thank you, both very much for having me on and thinking that
It's our pleasure.
it's such a pleasure to me to be here and just share my story of just being, people say, "Who are you?" I'm just me. I'm just an ordinary woman, person who has just been through so much, that appreciates everything that I have and celebrating life. And that's doing what I do. I love doing what I do. That's why I never look at myself the way people do. And so for you to say those words to me and say that what I do really makes that difference, it means a lot to me.
You're incredibly strong, and we're very happy to have you.
And it absolutely does. I mean, that's the whole purpose of this show, is to have people on that are inspirational, and you're that person. And you've inspired a lot of people, and I hope through putting you out here and giving you different platforms that you can inspire a whole lot more.
Thank you so much. It means a good deal to me. There's one thing that I didn't mention to you that I do. Because I'm involved in so many organizations, a lot of people, my social media pages have a lot of people on them. I have a lot of followers. Well, I find out that someone's having a fundraiser for whatever it is, personal. Somebody has cancer, somebody's, having a fundraiser because their family member has either something wrong with their heart or anything like that. And I'll find out where it is and how I can get those baskets. And I donate. I don't go to the fundraiser because I don't know the people, but I want to help. And I do. And I make baskets for people I don't even know. And it helps because I know what it's like to go without. I know what it's like to struggle. And no, I don't. I truly believe I don't have the means to do that money-wise, but I do it anyway because it makes me feel good. If I have $1 and it's the only dollar to my name and you need 50 cents, I'm going to give it to you. And I'm going to give it to you because you need it, not because I expect anything in return, because I don't. Because knowing that I'm helping someone, if more people in the world did that, even just a little bit, and it's not even about giving money or anything, or it's not even just about that. It's just about one small act of kindness.
It's true.
You could look at somebody and smile. You could open the door for someone. It could be as simple as saying, thank you.
And that's really contagious, the act of giving and the act of doing something small, something kind. I mean, you've really created a whole community of your, people you've worked with, people you've helped. It started when you didn't even know you were speaking to them, and really trickled down to everybody. I mean,
it's still, to me, I still don't even, it doesn't feel like I said earlier, I'm just me. I'm crying because I never realized that it really is making a difference in that. That is so amazing, amazing to me. It's so amazing. People used to ask me, or I used to think to myself, what is my purpose? And before I had my children, obviously my children are my world, and my grandson even more, but I used to think, what is my purpose? Why am I here? I know now why I'm here. My purpose is to help people. And I didn't understand how or where it was going to be. But my purpose is to help people, no matter how little or how big. And I'll tell you, it's the most rewarding feeling. But to be recognized for something that I would be doing anyway and that I love to do, it's so gratifying.
Well, and it's well deserved, and I think that the more you have recognition, the more what you do will have a ripple effect to so many other people. And so, I mean, there was no question when I learned about the work that you did, and partially because Brooke turned me on to all of the work that you're involved with. We said, "Oh my,
Thank you.
we have to have you on the show. We have to have you here. So that's
Thank you. It's funny you said ripple effect, because it was asked to me in one conversation a long time ago. I want to be a part of making that difference in the world. We all can be. If you take a little pebble, and this is how it can happen. It's like if you take a little pebble and you throw it in the water, that little pebble makes very small ripples, very small. But eventually that ripple gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I want to be a part of, and I want to send the message out there for everybody to be a part of, this might not be the word I should use, but tsunami of kindness and happiness.
I like that.
Yeah, a tsunami of kindness, and especially in a world today.
Right.
And that's what I try to do.
I like that. Yeah. In Melrose here, we have annual day of kindness, and that
Ripple effect.
Yeah, and then we try to continue. Often there's wonderful people that run that organization, and they call the people that help out kindness warriors. So
Oh, that's cool. I like
tsunami and kindness.
Yeah.
Kindness tsunami and kindness warriors. So I like these kind of analogies here.
Yeah.
Kind of symbols. Or,
Right.
So the North Shore Cancer Society is another organization, but I know there's more. There's more.
You make me
Come,
blush.
let me hear it. We have a lot more on the list that we
Yeah.
haven't gotten to yet.
Just kind of going off of the ripple effect and really your experience from like helping really small group of people to more people, and kind of staying positive yourself and really maintaining that attitude that helping people is a better way to direct your energy than feeling bad for yourself or feeling negative and hurting people. You're helping people instead.
And I love what she said earlier too about giving yourself the time though during those times where you may feel bad, but kind of validating your own feelings,
Right.
taking that time, allowing yourself to have those moments, but having a methodology that doesn't let it overwhelm or overtake you.
Exactly.
Not ignoring it, not treating it, but making sure you validate it and treat it yourself, but also then really redirecting it for good. So something I know about that you do is a public access TV program.
Yes.
Can you tell us about why and how you started that?
I haven't seen this yet. Have you seen this?
I have not.
Okay.
Why haven't we seen this? Where can we see this?
My local access television show is called Stand Strong. It's a fun, educational, motivational show about people overcoming life's obstacles. The show is not just about cancer survivors, it's about people overcoming any obstacle. I've done shows, obviously, on cancer. I've done shows where I've had guests who have had Parkinson's disease, survivors of sexual child abuse, birth defects. I mean, the list goes on and on. I just most recently, last month, I had Senator Lovely, senator from Massachusetts.
Sure.
Senator Lovely came on my show. I met her 2 years ago, and she, unbeknownst to me, was watching my show and while I was taping it. And when I came out of my taping, she introduced herself, and she's like, I love what you're doing. I love the concept of your show. When I'm ready, I would like to be a guest on your show. And last month, she approached me to be on my show, and she was ready to share her journey. She is a survivor as well. She's a child abuse survivor, and she was very heavily involved in passing laws to protect children, and they passed. And so she was ready to share then her story of being a survivor and overcoming. And that was amazing. So there are stories of many different survivors. That's why I said, I'm not just a cancer survivor, I'm a life survivor. We all are.
Right.
It is aired. I busted my tail to get it not just in my town, because usually local access television shows are only aired in your town. But I worked it because I told everyone that I went to with my pitch that it's not just a local show. It's a show, it's a topic about many survivors that touch everyone, not just one specific group. So it airs in multiple cities in and around Massachusetts, Beverly, Peabody, Danvers, Stoneham, Wakefield, not sure Melrose yet, but it's a local access TV. But my dream is to eventually someday make it to the point where it's bigger than that.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I want to see it. I'm going to have to come to your house then, or we're going to have it.
Well, I
come
could
into
have
Melrose.
you
There
on
we are.
my
We're gonna have
show
to
as
go.
the guest and talk about what you do as
It's
well.
even-
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Something I find really amazing about your show specifically, and when I first met you, is really you're giving a voice to people that would not normally have a voice to really talk about what they're going through. To me, that's really amazing that you're creating a platform for those voices to be heard.
Thank you.
And you're sharing your own journey, but it really is that ripple effect. I mean, you've like you've done it, and you continue to do it. So
Thank you. I
Yeah.
mean, my Stand Strong show, absolutely. It's because, even if it's about positivity. Yes, it's about how you've been in a bad situation, but you worked your way out. And a lot of people watching my show, no matter what the topic is about, if there's one person that can relate to them sharing their story, and we touch one person, and we can help that one person, then it's made a huge difference. And that's what the show is about, them coming on and helping, even if it's one person at a time, that little ripple. So yeah, thank you.
I love your story for so many reasons, particularly because that's the point that we like to drive home is you can make a change starting local, starting right where you live.
Absolutely.
Is in my point of view, the best way to make a larger change. That you can make a change 1,000 miles away, start 1 mile away, right?
Absolutely. I mean, when it all starts from home, right? Everything starts from home. So, when you help within your circle, I never thought I made a difference to so many people because I was just doing and still continue to do what I love to do in my circle, in my home, and not realizing that it's going so far. You can make a difference, even if it's a small difference.
I really feel like you've started something that's going to keep growing. It's not going to stop. So
I hope not. I really hope, as I said before, the tsunami of kindness. Absolutely.
And people can reach out to you. Is Facebook usually the best mechanism, or do you have people emailing you, or how does that work?
Absolutely. I mean, I do have a Facebook page, Darlene Louf, but I have many, so Darlene Louf will probably pop up 4 times. But assure you, it's all me. So either one of those, you can email me at darlene.louf@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I will respond. I literally, I'm not computer illiterate, but I do know how to check my emails. And I will get back to you for anything. Even if you just need ears to listen,
Sure.
I will be there. Anything that anyone needs. If you're having a fundraiser and you need raffle baskets, it would be a pleasure for me to make baskets to donate to anybody's cause. It feels good to give.
And those listening to the audio podcast, Louf, Louf. So it's Darlene Louf @gmail.com.
Yes.
And as I mentioned, we like to excite people to get involved in specific ways. If you need ideas, all of the nonprofits and foundations that you're involved with are wonderful. We have the Sarah Joy Foundation. We have the North Shore Cancer Society. We have Camp Sunshine. You're also singing at events and
My TV
Actually-
show.
TV show.
Yeah.
I would love to hear more about her singing. I think that song, like singing and being around other people singing as well, like is really like a great way of spreading things.
Oh, absolutely. I always
Yeah.
say for any situation in life, laughter and music are so good for the soul. Actually, this is one thing we didn't talk about, if I may mention it. When I was diagnosed with cancer, before I knew I had cancer, I auditioned for The Voice.
Oh, no kidding.
And I got chosen to go.
That's great. When was this?
2011.
Okay, yeah.
But I couldn't go because I found out that I had cancer and I couldn't make that journey because my treatments were very aggressive. So I had to put that aside. And afterwards, I was really sad that I got chosen and I couldn't go. So my son said to me, Mom, I know you want to sing, but at this time, I think your voice is needed in other manner, in another way.
Very wise.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, I understand that now. And it is through my TV show, talking, being a motivational speaker, being here with you. I'm using my voice. It might not be in the way I thought, but the powers that be turned it into a direction that it needs to go, and that is to help people. I still sing, but I did an audio video and sent it and submitted it in because I couldn't personally be there. And so I still took part in it.
That's great.
But I'm using my voice and my journey in other ways. I am the national anthem singer for the North Shore Cancer Center for their walk.
Wow. Okay.
And I am their official anthem singer. And my dream and my goal, maybe one day, eventually, in honor of my grandpa, he was a sports nut. And we used to watch sports all the time. And when they would have the anthem singer come on, I used to, Grandpa, I want to do that. I want to do that. And
That
he
is
used to
not
say,
an easy song.
He used to say, one day you're going to do it, honey. Don't worry. And so my dream, standing on the home plate at Fenway, when I sing the national anthem, it'll be in honor of my grandpa. Right now, when I sing the national anthem, it's an even bigger special message because it is for the North Shore. It's for cancer. And it's such an honor. My grandpa would still be proud of me because I am.
I'm sure.
So, you know,
Sure he would. No doubt.
Singing is a huge thing. I love to sing. I do have a CD. It's called Stand Strong. It's an original song. It's available on iTunes.
Okay.
Darlene Louf, Stand Strong on iTunes.
We'll
And the
add the link.
proceeds go to Sarah Joy Foundation.
Wow. That's just incredible. The more we dig, it's endless, the work that you do, and you're way too humble.
So funny. I don't talking about this stuff because it's what I do. It's like people getting up to eat. You know, you wake up, you have to eat, or you wake up and you have to take a shower. I don't look at it the way you do. So again, you're going to make me cry.
You haven't just done a little bit in a few places. You've done a lot in a few places, and you continue to spread that.
I am honored, and thank you so much for having me here. This is so cool to me. This is really exciting. I'm enjoying myself immensely. I mean, yes, I'm getting the message out there for all the things that I've done and stuff, and that's very important to me. But to be here with you guys and experiencing this, it's just really exciting. It's like, oh my God, little old me, look what I'm doing. This is so cool. I've always dreamed of doing this. And this is what I said, you know, I'm not a professional singer and I didn't get to go to The Voice, but I'm using my voice in other ways. You're helping me do that. So it's kind of cool. I mean, these microphones and stuff are really cool. If I had one of these at home, I'd be singing in it all the time.
I think we should work to make that happen.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
And I would love to have you come in here and maybe record a song one day. So
I'd love to. That'd be
absolutely.
awesome. Oh my goodness, that'd be so cool. Will you do backup dancing?
Maybe Brooke can do some backup dancing.
No, she's gonna sing with me, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
She
Singer,
actually.
There you
dancer,
go.
There you go.
anything you want.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks again for coming by. We're gonna
Thank
list
you.
all of your foundations. I mean,
Oh.
pick your flavor if anyone wants to get involved here. If people want to check our links and the different playlists related to specific events, related to dates and times and what's upcoming, please check that out. We also have the link here in the iTunes and Spotify. And I know there's a lot of events coming up and they're ongoing. So depending upon when you're listening to this, we'll have Links available. Thank you once again for being here.
Thank you so much, both
thank
of
We
you.
really appreciate
This has
it.
been an amazing experience.
Inspiring.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.